Hey guys, yeah, I would have done this earlier, except I was tired. I'm still kind of tired, but I wanted to get this out of the way so I can upload it later, which will be by the time you watch this, hopefully on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it and see it. But wanted to come on here and do a bit of a package opening, double package opening from Frank Hill. Frank Hill sent me, and I'm sure he's sent others similar items. He's got more on the way. As we speak, just don't know when and where, but what those are, you'll have to wait and see. But he did say he was going to send me a few things. He actually asked me, what I had, what I didn't have, and stuff. So, that was very appreciative of him to do. Very, nice of him to do. And just checking something on my computer. It likes to load at times, I guess, after you do a big project or something. I don't know. But yeah, he asked me what I had, what I didn't have, and he said he was going to send me some stuff. So, that's exactly what he did. He got the tracking numbers. I think a couple of days, couple of days away from the other, and they both arrived today, and I double checked, not today but yesterday, and I double checked, and they were basically the items he had ordered separately that had come on the same day. So we have one item here, and we have another item here, a couple of items here it looks like. So going off of the numbers, I think we'll go with this one. This one was the first one that he sent out. So we'll see exactly what this one is, if you will. And we'll see exactly what this one is. So, without further ado, there we go. They like to put these things, what did I say? They like to really seal these things up. Like I said, it's late, I'm still tired, I gotta get some rest in a little bit. I just wanted to get this done and out of the way. So, what's the first item he sent to me, or ordered and sent out to me? It is... well, I guess I can add this to the family's collection. Problem Child. Now, in case you're wondering why it's designed like a VHS, or at least the cover is anyway, Mill Creek has been doing this lately. In fact, Mill Creek did this with two other movies I bought when I was, working at Walmart. Those movies being Roxanne and Earth, and what is it, Girls Just Want to Have Fun or something like that. And they do this because basically that's how these movies were first seen. When you would go to a rental store or something like that, you would see them in this manner, if you will. So that's pretty cool that they get a little nod to nostalgia. I do remember, growing up, watching this, growing up with it and everything, and, yeah, I think this was, basically before John Ritter, well, of course it was way before he passed, but I think it was also before he did Stay Tuned, so, which is known for basically taking his character and his wife's character into television, parodies of stuff that we would watch on television, and even being more infamous for having a little cartoon short in there in between, so where you got a lot of cartoon physics and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So that was a pretty good moment, I should say. But yeah, Problem Child, have no problem with that, if you will. So thank you very much for that, Frank. Really appreciate it. And then the next one here is it's the second one that he got the tracking number for and everything. Second one here. So let's see exactly what this is. And it's a couple of Blu-rays, a couple of them. Okay, pretty cool. It looks like it's been nothing but Blu-rays here, so thank you very much for that. So what do we have? we have, okay, it's empty. Oh, okay, these will be pretty good. This one I'll definitely keep in my room. Um, we have Duck Dodgers, the complete series. Yeah, in case you guys don't know, they did a series on Duck Dodgers. This was before they did Lunatics Unleashed, which I hope they do bring to Blu-ray eventually as well. But this was before that. This was I think this was before or after. I can't really remember. But yeah, basically it's a series based on a Duck Dodgers show, on the Duck Dodgers, not show, but Duck Dodgers character that they did, which is a parody of Buck Rogers. You know, parody of that, if you will. It's a parody of that. So yeah, it's Buck. So basically, yeah, it's a parody of Buck Rogers. It started back in the, like I said, the early, I'd say, late 40s, early 50s. They started doing that, and and they kept doing it for a while, if you will. It would mainly be, Duck Dodgers and Space Cadet Porky against, of course, Marvin the Martian most of the time. Not with the dog. I think the dog didn't even show up in most of those. It was just mostly Marvin the Martian, and then of course, trying to revive the Looney Tunes brand and everything. I think this was after Back in Action. I think this may have been after Back in Action. I'm not really sure. Um, but yeah, they tried to revitalize the brand, and they said, okay, let's try to make series out of some of our more iconic shows, and or not show, well, not shows, but characters. And they decided, well, obviously, what better opportunity can they do for a show, especially if it's parody, than Duck Dodgers. The interesting thing about this is it does, like I say, bring back Marvin. It does bring back the Martian dog along with him, but it also brings in a queen. I can't trying to think what's her name. Let's see. Um, I can't think of her name right now, but she's very popular with fans and all that. And Marvin's character, who is, I guess, Commander. What is it, Commander X2? Yeah, Commander X2. He has a thing for her. He has a crush on her, and I don't know if she acknowledges it at the end or something. Can't remember on that part. But the Queen has a thing for Duck Dodgers, and when he doesn't accept her feelings, she wants to destroy him. But she always, like, basically afterwards it just resets, and it's like, okay, you know, she didn't destroy him this time. That's the torch she carries for him continues. So, and literally, it's not just a torch to torch him. It's basically a torch to make him hit hers or something. So, yeah, it's a funny show. It went on for 3 seasons. It's 39 episodes. I think it went on for three seasons, I think. So, it's a pretty funny show. Nice to have that in the collection. Of course, you got the all-time classic, one of the all-time classics of the 90s, Sandlot. Really happy to have that. Again, some of these, like Problem Child, will probably be going into the family section of stuff. So I appreciate that because, one, it will be something that my mom can pick out and watch and stuff like that, along with my nephew, my third oldest nephew, if he ever decides to come back over and stuff. So, because he's getting at that age and everything where it's like, oh, I could come over, but maybe not right now and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those films that you can enjoy watching with him and stuff. And I do remember watching it as a kid, so I do appreciate that. And then last but not least, one of the more very well-known movies with Fred Savage, besides Little Monsters, and of course his role in the Wonder Years. One of the better ones, and this is what from Shout Select. I didn't even know they had a division called Shout Select, so Okay, it's number 102. It's the Wizard, and the reason this is pretty much a cult classic, very remembered by a lot of fans from the 80s and the 90s, is because for a lot of us, this is when we first found out about Super Mario Bros. 3. That's right. We didn't even know about it. Nobody, and you got and remember, this is at a time when the internet wasn't even a thing as it would be later on, and we didn't even know there were rumblings about it. I mean, we knew a sequel was coming, we just didn't know when and where and what it was going to be about. And lo and behold, The Wizard comes out. We find out it's kind of a collab between Universal and Nintendo, who, by the way, obviously have had a huge standing relationship to this day. That now you have Super Nintendo World in Universal Hollywood in California, and Universal Studios Japan, and you also got it coming to Universal Studios Florida eventually, along with the Epic Universe Park theme park, part of that. So you got it coming there too. So they've had a long-standing relationship. So part of the idea to promote this, basically, or have it distributed, by Universal, in conjunction with Nintendo, was to basically get, it was basically one, they could advertise the new park, and I think Universal Park just opened up around that time, or was starting to, or something. I can't really remember. It was something tying into that. But also it was to help promote Nintendo's products, like the games, the accessories, the Nintendo World Championships, which we were just starting at the time, as well as be a launching pad for Super Mario Bros. 3. And when we all saw that, it was like, oh my God, what? I mean, here's the thing: we didn't see it in theaters. Me and my sisters, we didn't see it in the theaters, but we had heard. We had, we had heard that basically, that people. The only thing people were talking about, kids at school were talking about, was Super Mario Bros. 3 made its debut in The Wizard. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? They said, and they wouldn't say any more than that. They said, oh, you would just have to see to believe it. It's you have to see it to believe it. So knowing that, we wanted to see exactly what they meant, and we rented the film, when it came out, and oh my gosh, we were blown away. And what's ironic is the year the game came out, and there was always talk of, it's hard to get a copy of the game. Somehow our parents got a copy of the game, because I remember on Christmas, I think it was 1990 or 89, I can't really remember. It's one of those Christmases. We're looking under the tree, we see, and I think this was the year I got my TurboGrafx. In fact, I think it was same year I got my TurboGrafx. My TurboGrafx 16, that is. And I remember there was another gift, and it said to me, and it said from Santa to me, and it had my sister's names on there as well. And we opened it, and it was Super Mario Bros. 3. Couldn't believe it. And after we did all the Christmas unwrapping of the Christmas presents, cleared things up a little bit, one of the first things we did, and I think we watched the parade as well at that time, the Walt Disney Parade, Christmas Parade, I think. One of the things we did afterwards, after we cleaned things up and all that, is we went over to the Nintendo, which was my second older sister's Nintendo, but it was a gift for all of us, but just presented to her as a birthday present, the thing, basically, when she decides to move out and everything, and the system's still in good condition, she takes it with her. It's hers. But as long as it's under the family roof, if you will, it is hers. But by extension, it's everybody's. Kind of like the same thing with my TurboGrafx. It's mine. I could have taken it anywhere I wanted to if I had kept it around, even after I grew up. And went out on my own. But but by extension, it was also the family. So it was mine, but by extension, it was the family's. So something like that. And it was always kept in the living room. But yeah, But yeah, essentially, the moment we got that game, we popped that sucker in. You know, after we cleaned everything up and I think watched the parade and got some breakfast, we popped that thing in and we played it. We were like, you know, and I remember watching this movie probably a lot more than anything, mostly for the ending, the championships, if you will. And that's where I remembered one time playing. I was like, wait a minute, didn't he find a warp zone? You know, and I was like, yeah, I think he did. So I did exactly what he did one time, and I got into that warp zone. I was the first one in my family to do that, and I and I bragged to my sisters, yeah, guess what I did, and I showed them. It's like, because they always like to go through the whole thing without going and warping, and that's good. Even to this day, people like to do that, but it's like, to me, I just felt like, what, I don't have the patience, being, I think, 10, 11 at that time. I didn't have the patience, so I was like, I'm just going to warp, I'm just going to warp, and that's what I did. And I do remember when the movie came out on pay-per-view, and I think this is after we rented it, because this was at a time when if you wanted to watch a movie, at home instead of, renting it, going to the store and renting it, you could buy it on pay-per-view. Now, yes, pay-per-view is kind of like renting as well, but this was also at a time where you could, order the movie on pay-per-view, and you wouldn't worry about any copyrights or any kind of copyright or protection or anything like that. You could just record it without issue. So excuse me. So we took a tape. I think we had some other stuff on it, and I think this was one of the last things we put on it, and we recorded the Wizard on that tape after ordering it on pay-per-view. So yeah. It's like, I remember watching the movie several times, even afterwards, and being like, I know what to do with the, in that castle in the First World, the Midway Castle, that is, or the Fortress, whatever they called it. But yeah, I remember just knowing what to do and then bragging about it. So yeah, this is a 2-disc set. Let's see. It says the first set it's a 4K transfer. You have auto commentaries with the director. Never before released deleted scenes. Okay. Let's see. Disc 2, The Road to California. A look back at the Wizard, including brand new interviews with the director, Fred Savage, and Luke Edwards, the writer and the producer, and the writer, producer, and producer. Let's see. How can I help you? A confession of a gameplay counselor. A critical analysis of the Wizard. Post-screening Q&A from Let's Play Gaming Expo 2019 with Luke Edwards and the producers in tow. So pretty good features on there. Sandlot, I think, just the featurette and theatrical and TV spots. Okay. This one has, okay, it's got the original Duck Dodgers, Merry Melody from 1953. Okay, I knew it was in the early 50s of when Duck Dodgers first appeared. So, pretty cool. And then Problem Child. Let's see if there's anything on here that Mill Creek may have added. Nope. No, nothing on there. So yeah, thank you very much for these, Frank. Really appreciate them. I know my family's going to appreciate them. I know I'll definitely enjoy watching that. That goes to the collection. The Wizard, again, for a lot of us, is a trip down memory lane and how we all first found out about the Wizard. Obviously, cult classic if you're a baseball fan and you knew what it was like growing up playing baseball with your friends. And then Problem Child, one of John Ritter's funnier films, and I think done before Stay Tuned. And yeah, it's very funny too. I mean, it wouldn't have been funny if funny enough. It wouldn't have been the success it was. To the point that it got a sequel. So I'm trying to say, I'm tired. I do apologize. But yeah, really appreciate that. Thank you very much for that, Frank. Cannot, wait to check these out in the near future. Cannot wait for that. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on it, guys. I'm gonna get some rest now because I gotta work. Let me know what your thoughts are overall on these on this package opening. You know, what were your thoughts on each of these things that Frank Hill sent to me and everything? What are your memories of Sandlot, The Wizard, Problem Child, and what is the name of the queen? I know I kind of have an idea, but let me know what the name of the queen, the daughters, is the Martian queen. But yeah, let me know. And until next time, guys, I'm gonna get some rest, and I'm out.